Chapter 1. On the day of my husband Sam's birthday party, he fell into the sea by accident. The police couldn't help, and the rescue failed. I had no choice but to accept the painful truth: Sam was gone. Until one day, I led a team to a soon-to-be demolished fishing village and saw something that left me stunned. Sam, who was supposed to be dead, stood protectively in front of a sunburned fisherwoman, yelling at the construction crew, "I'm the one in charge of the company. I dare you to touch this place. Lay a hand on it and I'll make sure you all lose your jobs." That's when it hit me: Sam faked his death just to stay here with her. That night, I received the first call from him since his disappearance 5 years ago. "Ruby, I'm warning you, don't you dare touch that village. If you do, don't blame me for forgetting we were ever married. I'll make sure you're kicked out of the family business." Hearing that, I felt an overwhelming emptiness. Since he didn't want to come back, fine, then let him stay dead, just as he wished 5 years ago. Cancel his household registration? Are you sure you want to declare Sam legally dead? The officer asked me a second time, uncertain. Back when Sam had just vanished, his relatives had been circling the company like vultures, desperate to tear off a piece for themselves. They didn't care if Sam was alive or dead. They just wanted him officially gone so they could divide up his assets. I didn't want his life's work to go to waste, and I couldn't bear to believe he was truly gone. So I fought back. I went to the media, stormed the police station like a crazy woman, and made such a mess that the company was thrust into public scrutiny. Only then did the vultures back off, afraid to make a move on Sam's shares. The police remembered me clearly because of that. Swallowing my bitterness, I nodded again. Yes, I want to declare Sam legally dead. He doesn't care about the company anymore. What's the point in holding on to a name that means nothing? Seeing my resolve, the officer assumed I had finally come to terms. "It's good you've made peace with it, miss. Life is about moving forward." He turned around and handed me the official certificate. I let out a bitter laugh inside. Turns out, the thing I guarded all these years was nothing but a meaningless piece of paper. When I returned to the old family estate, the relatives were already gathered. Over a dozen people sat waiting. "Sister-in-law, I heard you had my brother officially removed from the records. So, shouldn't we be settling his estate now? You can't keep it all to yourself." Sam's younger brother Daniel spoke bluntly, no longer hiding his greed. Another man I barely recognized, a bastard son from some affair, joined in. "Daniel's right. I mean, it must be tiring for you to manage all that wealth alone." "Huh? We brothers could help share the burden, unless you plan to change the family name or something." At that, the room fell silent. Several faces darkened. I scanned the crowd with a mocking smile and gave a soft snort. "Sure, let's settle it. Good thing I brought my lawyer." Chapter 2. These people really had some nerve. Back when Sam had his accident and the company's stock was in free fall, all they cared about was money. Not one of them gave a damn about the family's future. They dumped the mess squarely in my lap. If it hadn't been for my parents sacrificing most of our family assets to plug the holes in Sam's company, there's no way his family would have survived. They refused to help when things went bad. But now that there's something to gain, they want to share? How convenient. Seeing how readily I agreed, Daniel sat upright on the couch, and the others showed obvious interest. One of the aunts even gave me a smug little look. "That's more like it. Ruby, you're a woman. What's the point of holding on to all that money? A man is the backbone of a household. Your second uncle is capable. If you hand him some shares, he'll double their value in no time." I hadn't even spoken yet when the bastard son let out a cold snort and snapped back. "Old hag, who do you think you are? My brother's shares belong to the main branch, not your side of the family. And let's not forget, that second uncle of yours is drowning in debt. You really know how to blow smoke. Double the value? Even my brother wouldn't dare say something that ridiculous if he were alive." "Zach, you're just a bastard. What right do you have to talk?" The second aunt shot him a deadly glare and tried to argue, but no one wanted to watch that fight. Daniel slammed his glass down on the table, cutting them off. "Enough. One more word and you're out." Then he turned to me again. "Let's get on with it. Sis-in-law, I've got a flight to catch to France tonight." I nodded slightly and signaled the lawyer to proceed. The lawyer cleared his throat and began calmly announcing the inheritance division. "Since Mr. Sam's parents are deceased, The legal first inheritor is Mrs. Ruby. She inherits half of Mr. Sam's estate. The remaining half is to be split equally among the 9 siblings officially registered under the main household. As soon as he said that, Zach objected immediately. Why the hell do I get so little, and Ruby gets half? Exactly. And why does our side of the family get nothing? You're obviously Ruby's paid-off lawyer. What a load of crap. You clearly don't know how to do your job. The second aunt, furious with the result, snapped at the lawyer and then turned her fire toward me. Ruby, you little witch, did you rig this whole thing? Why don't we get even a single penny? I shrugged and replied calmly with a faint smile. If you don't like the result, feel free to sue. The outcome won't change. The law is clear. Why would Sam's assets go to your side of the family anyway? Then I turned my head to Zach and added, if you feel shortchanged, go hire your own lawyer. But don't blame me, blame your dad. He died and left behind a mess of illegitimate kids like you to fight over the crumbs. After I finished, I stood up and gave a polite but unmistakable gesture. I'm a widow now. Having so many of you loitering in my home does no good for my reputation. You all may be shameless, but I still care about my name. The second aunt was so furious she stormed out on the spot. The others trickled out after her, leaving only Daniel and Zach still sitting there coolly. Just as I was about to kick them out, our housekeeper Monica hurried in. Ma'am, there's a man outside. He looks just like the young master. And there's a woman with him. Chapter 3. Her voice wasn't quiet. Everyone else in the living room heard it loud and clear. Daniel glanced at me with a knowing smirk. No wonder you went and had Sam's household registration canceled. Getting nervous. Huh? I looked away and pretended not to hear him, signaling Monica to throw the visitors out. But before she could act, Sam's shouting rang out from outside. Ruby, are you playing dead? Open the damn door. The crude tone made my stomach churn. I was about to call security, but Daniel beat me to it. Let them in. It's raining out there anyway. Besides, isn't Big Bro dead? No such thing as a young master anymore, unless our dear sister-in-law's feeling guilty? I sneered inside. Me? Guilty? It's a dead man standing out there. The only one who should feel guilty is him. He was the loudest one yelling for the deregistration in the first place. I gave a cold wave of my hand. Let him in then. Just hope none of you have nightmares after seeing him. I slipped back into my slippers and took a seat on the sofa. All 3 of us stared at the front door like it was a horror movie waiting to unfold. After a moment, Sam's annoyed voice came again. What's taking so long? Trying to freeze me to death? Get me some dry clothes already. Then he barged in, dragging a woman behind him. Both of them were soaked. One step, and a brand new rug was ruined. The first thing Sam did was blame me. Ruby, didn't I call you last night and say don't touch the fishing village? Why did the construction crew still show up? Do you know Rita nearly had a heart attack because of you? Apologize to her right now. Rita's eyes filled with tears, and she dramatically knelt toward me. Sister, are you tearing down the fishing village just because you hate me for taking Sam? But our love is real. You're the one who doesn't belong. Even if you hate me, don't take it out on the village. That place holds our most precious memories. Can't you be the bigger person? Don't destroy our love's birthplace just to be petty. Do you even understand the joy of fishing together? The taste of dried fish snacks we shared? Are you really that cruel? As she spoke, her whining turned into full-blown accusations. Sam yanked her back and glared at me. Don't kneel to her. I'm still the man of this house. Relax. I'll take care of the village. And Rita, don't worry. I'll give you a proper title soon. She doesn't get to decide anything. Then he suddenly snapped at Monica. Are you deaf? Can't you see my Rita's freezing? Go get her dry clothes. Monica didn't move. She simply looked at me, waiting for a sign. That tiny glance infuriated Sam. He stormed toward me like he was about to tear me apart. What gives you the right to act high and mighty in my house? Is this your doing? Huh? You think you're the boss now? I'll teach you a lesson today. You'll see who really runs this place. But he never got close. Daniel stepped between us. Cold and blunt. Where did this stray dog come from? Letting you in out of the rain was charity. You think just because you look like my brother, you are him? Don't flatter yourself. Chapter 4. Daniel's words earned silent nods from both me and Zach. At that moment, no one wanted Sam to be alive. Even if they each got a smaller piece of the inheritance, crumbs were still better than nothing. No one walks away from money. Sam stumbled back a couple of steps, stunned by Daniel's attitude. Daniel, I'm your brother. Daniel scoffed like it was the funniest thing he'd heard all year. You, my brother? Don't be ridiculous. My brother died 5 years ago. If you're here to beg, just say it. A few $100? Sure, we'll toss some your way. His tone was ice cold and utterly heartless. Sam clenched his fists in fury, grinding his teeth. Are you insane? Open your damn eyes and look at me. Am I not your brother? Daniel didn't even flinch. He leaned back on the sofa like Sam was some irrelevant passerby. Sam's eyes turned bloodshot. He stared at me, trembling with rage. You bitch! This is your doing, isn't it? I couldn't even bother to respond. The woman beside him tugged at his sleeve and whispered, "The child is still sick. Can we at least get him into some dry clothes?" Then she gently lowered the basket on her back and took out a child, probably 3 years old. Eyes closed, fast asleep, face dark from sun and wind, but his features vaguely resembled Sam. He sure worked fast. In just 5 years, he had a whole other family. I couldn't help but laugh out of sheer rage. While I was here protecting his empire, he was hiding out in some fishing village playing house. What a shameless bastard. Sam didn't wait for Monica. He ripped the throw blanket off the sofa and wrapped it around the child, softly comforting the woman. Don't worry, I'll call a doctor later. Then he turned to me with a face full of excuses. Ruby, I get why you don't want to accept me, but you have to understand, I was suffocating in that house. To you, I was just a money-making machine. That's why I faked my death and left. And look, even without me, the company's still doing fine, right? Let's be real, I'm going to marry Rita. We have a child, you saw it. If you agree to the divorce, I'll compensate you generously. But if you don't, then don't blame me for being ruthless. I let out a cold laugh. And who the hell are you again? Just because you know my name, you think you're my husband? Please, my husband's been dead for years. You're not the first loser to show up pretending to be him. And where's your proof? You come in here spouting nonsense without evidence? Aren't you embarrassed? Sam, surprisingly calm, replied, Evidence? A DNA test with Daniel will settle it. Zach and I both assumed Daniel would say no. To our shock, he agreed immediately. On the way to the test center, Zach exploded. Daniel, are you out of your mind? We finally got some shares. Are you really going to hand it all back? Daniel didn't say a word. In front of everyone, they took the DNA test. Sam, paranoid that we'd forged the results, waited at the lab overnight. The next morning, we went to pick up the results. And what do you know? They shocked everyone. Sam and Daniel were not related. I stared in disbelief. Daniel leaned in and whispered, I didn't fake it. But do you want to know where the problem is? Sis-in-law? He paused, then added with a smirk, You forgot something, didn't you? There's one thing in Sam's inheritance you didn't settle yet. Chapter 5. I was just about to ask Daniel what he meant when Sam suddenly slammed the paternity report to the ground. What kind of bullshit result is this? You all must have tampered with it. Daniel put on an innocent face. If you don't believe it, go to the police. We can do another test. But my time is precious. If you want to retest, do it fast. You're already making me late for my flight to France. Sam no longer trusted a word Daniel said. He turned and grabbed Zach by the wrist, dragging him toward the lab. Zach resisted with everything he had. Get your damn hands off me. I'm not doing this with you. Sam spat at him. What? You think I want to share blood with you? You're just some escort baby. I feel filthy even touching your blood. I'm only doing this to prove I'm clean. Zach fought to break free, but Sam had the strength of someone who'd spent 5 years hauling fishing nets. His grip was like iron. Zach's eyes darted around for help, landing on Daniel and me. Daniel couldn't care less. I clenched my hands nervously. I was worried too, after all. I owned half the company. No way I was handing that over. I took a step forward to stop Sam, but Daniel grabbed my wrist. What's the rush? Sis-in-law? The result's going to be the same anyway. I stopped in my tracks and turned to him. What do you mean by that? He didn't answer, just smirked and nodded toward Zach. Sam had already forced a blood draw. Zach's face looked like all hope had been drained from him. As we walked out of the testing center, Zach was still cursing under his breath. You two are nuts. Seriously, while that asshole was drawing my blood, you both just stood there like statues. What? Trying to act all high and mighty? Especially you, Ruby. You got the biggest slice of the pie and you didn't even try to help me. And what? Now that he's back with his bastard kid, are you thinking of rekindling things with him? You're just a hopeless romantic, aren't you? I rolled my eyes so hard I nearly pulled something. And you, all muscles and no balls, you couldn't shake him off? Also, why the hell are you yelling at me? If you've got the guts, go yell at Daniel. He was the one who stopped me. By the time Zach turned to argue, all that was left of Daniel was the exhaust from his car. When I got home, I was shocked to see Sam already inside. I was just about to ask how he got in when I saw my aunt-in-law sitting smugly on the couch. Whatever words I had stuck in my throat, she gave me a smug little smirk, full of mockery. Ruby, aren't you going to apologize to Sam already? What are you waiting for? Chapter 6. I met her confrontational gaze head-on and asked coldly, what exactly do I have to apologize for? Also, Sam is dead, so, Auntie, please stop joking like that. Then I added, and some people really need to stop thinking that just because someone looks like my husband, he actually is. We all saw the paternity test today. What are you still clinging to? Sam shot up from the couch, pointing his finger at my nose, shouting with fury, nothing like the gentleman he used to be. You bitch! Who knows if you faked that DNA result? Let's wait for tomorrow's report, you'll see what the truth is then. I raised an eyebrow and smirked. Is that so? Well, good luck with that. But this is my house. Auntie, if you don't take your guests and leave, I'll call the police. Trespassing is a crime, and I wouldn't mind watching him get arrested. Auntie hesitated, shooting me a glare, but Rita suddenly stepped forward and began accusing me tearfully. Miss, I know you tampered with that test because you resent Sam, but we have a child now. Can't you just let us be? I never wanted anything but Sam. You've already lived in luxury in this family for years. Why can't you just let go? Why are you so selfish? Just as she finished speaking, that little dark-skinned brat ran over and slammed into my leg, hard, and he kept yelling nonstop. Bad woman. Give me back my dad. You shameless skank. Get out of my house. Such a young kid. Already this rude. Clearly never taught a damn thing. I grabbed him by the collar and lifted him straight up. Rita rushed over to snatch him back, eyes full of panic and fear, her voice trembling. If you're mad, take it out on me. Why are you picking on a child? Then she added, like she was rubbing salt in the wound. Well, I guess it makes sense. You've been married to Sam all these years, and you still don't have any kids. You couldn't possibly understand what it's like to be a mother. Sam gently patted the little bastard's head, heartbroken. Then, without warning, he slapped me. I staggered back, shocked, his fingernail scratching my cheek hard enough to draw blood. In response, I swung my hand and slapped him across the face, hard. He didn't even have time to react. The red mark that bloomed on his face brought me a bit of satisfaction. Auntie gasped and tried to stop me. Are you crazy, Ruby? That's Sam. You hit Sam. I kept my voice calm and steady. He's not Sam. Don't be delusional. Auntie, if Daniel was confident enough to say the results were accurate and didn't even try to stop Zach from doing the test, then maybe Sam wasn't even part of this family? The thought stirred in the back of my mind, but I said nothing, for now. Because if Sam really wasn't part of the family, I was worried my shares might get taken back too. Ruby, you fucking dare hit me? Sam roared and raised his hand again. I stepped back, scoffing. Why not? You think you don't deserve it? You broke into my house and tried to hit me. The owner? You're the one who needs a lesson from the cops. With that, I pulled out my phone and called the police without hesitation. Sam moved too slowly, he didn't even have time to stop me. But before the cops could arrive, Daniel showed up first. When he walked in the door, I couldn't help feeling disappointed. All I wanted was for this nightmare to be over. But Daniel saw the look in my eyes and chuckled. What? Sis-in-law, not happy to see me? That's no way to greet someone bringing good news. Chapter 7. As soon as he finished speaking, Daniel tossed a new paternity test report in front of Sam. Hurry up and read it. I had it expedited. I told you my brother's dead, and yet you keep clinging on like a roach. Sam's hand trembled as he opened the report, though he still tried to deny it with his mouth. That's impossible. If I'm not Sam, then who is? No way, both tests are wrong. Did you all set me up? Right then, a knock came at the door. This time, it was the police. Daniel glanced at me, confused. You actually called the cops? I was just about to speak when he gently touched my chin. His face darkened. Did he hit you? Without waiting for a reply, Daniel swung a punch and landed it straight on Sam's face. Caught off guard, Sam stumbled back. I looked at Daniel, conflicted, then averted my gaze. Officer, this man broke into my home claiming to be my husband, but my husband passed away years ago. I believe he's a fraud trying to scam me. Sam opened his mouth to protest, but with 2 paternity tests confirming he wasn't related, panic set in. He had no words. Soon, the police took him to the station. Under official supervision, they conducted a 3rd test. The result? Still no blood relation. Maybe I'd guessed right all along. Sam had never even belonged to this family. Sam and Rito were both detained for a week. That night, just as I returned home and was about to shut the door, a hand jammed between the frame and stopped it. Sis-in-law, you forgot something. Big Brother's inheritance hasn't been fully settled. Hearing Daniel's voice made my head ache. Before I could react, he slipped through the gap and forced his way in. I gave him a nasty glare. The inheritance is already settled. Now get the hell out. I don't want you here. Instead, he wrapped an arm around my waist and whispered near my ear. Aren't you part of my brother's inheritance? My stomach turned. I shoved him away, raised my hand to slap him, but he caught my wrist in midair. I switched hands and smacked him across the face. Hard. He took the hit but didn't get angry. He even smirked. Nice swing, sis-in-law. Didn't think you'd be so rough with me. His look sent a chill down my spine. Get lost. If you're that horny, go find someone else. I turned to go upstairs, but Daniel pulled me back again, wrapping his arm around my waist, lifting me up, and tossing me onto the sofa. He yanked off his tie and leaned in over me. You hit me. Now it's my turn. I immediately caught the dark implication. I lashed out furiously. Daniel, are you fucking insane? He straddled me, voice low and calculated. You're a smart woman, sis-in-law. I'm sure you've realized by now, my brother wasn't even related to us. So if he wasn't a blood heir, why did he get company shares? And you're even less qualified. But if you want to keep your shares, marry me. I'll protect them for you. I clenched my teeth, rage boiling. So what? He's dead. How are you going to prove any of that now? Daniel chuckled. Dead men tell no tales? If I wanted, he could be alive again in no time. So I suggest you. Before he could finish, his face twisted in pain. He clutched his crotch. All threats instantly silenced. I smirked and shoved him off me. Maybe you should be the one backing off. I'm Ruby. You think threats or brute force work on me? Do you even have the balls for that anymore? Daniel was doubled over, face flushed red in pain, glaring at me with eyes full of rage but too winded to speak. I was about to throw a few more insults at him, when suddenly, a familiar voice came from the doorway. I turned, and there was Zach, leaning on the doorframe, staring at us in utter disbelief. That look on his face? Like he just walked in on us cheating. Chapter 8. Wait, what the hell are you two doing? Ruby, are you cheating? Hearing Zach's accusation, I shot a glare at Daniel. What a pain in the ass, always dragging me into his mess. Cheating. My ass. You came at the perfect time. Take him the hell out of here. Zach still looked like he had more questions. But once he saw Daniel curled up on the floor, still unable to stand, he rushed over and dragged him out. I did kick pretty hard. If they got him to the hospital quickly, he should be fine. I'd always known Daniel wasn't exactly a saint, but I hadn't expected this level of crazy. All this pretending to be nice to me? Clearly, It was just about the company shares. His weird moves might have fooled someone else, but me? Please, I didn't cling to Sam's shares for 5 years just to be outwitted by a snake like him. But at least now the shares were legally under my name. No one could take them. And besides Daniel and me, who else even knew Sam wasn't actually related to this family? Even if someone did know, no one would dare admit it. After that incident, Daniel stayed put in the hospital and didn't dare come harass me again. Maybe I really had kicked him a little too hard. But peace didn't last long. Just a few days later, my secretary called me. There had been a death in the fishing village. My heart dropped. I had barely secured Sam's shares. And now this? If the news got out, the company's stock could tank. I rushed over as fast as I could. After searching around for a while, I realized there wasn't a death at all. Instead, what was there was Sam and Rita standing defiantly in front of an excavator, holding hands like they were reenacting some tragic romance drama. Go on. Dig if you dare. I won't let you. This is my home. Why should greedy capitalists like you get to destroy it? Can't you respect nature for once? Why must you develop everything? The site manager's face was unreadable, but his tone was clearly annoyed. Miss Rita, you signed the agreement. You took the compensation money. So what's the problem now? Did you suddenly think it wasn't enough? Rita's eyes flickered, but her mouth remained defiant. So what if we did? You bought so much land already, what's one house left standing gonna hurt? Let me tell you, I don't fall for your money tricks. You can't buy my home. I won't let it be torn down. Sam chimed in, face darkening. I said no. So that means no. Do you even know who I am? I'm the boss of this company. If you keep pushing, I'll make sure you lose your job. He thought that would scare the manager. It didn't. Instead, the manager burst out laughing and spat on the ground near Sam's feet. You? Boss of the company? Then I must be the damn founder. I'm warning you, don't cause trouble. You signed and you cashed the check. One more stunt like this and I'm calling the cops. Sam's face turned purple with rage. Seeing that tough talk wasn't working, Rita changed her approach, instantly playing the victim card. Please, sir, just spare our home. We make our living fishing here. If you tear it down, you're basically killing us. The manager looked like he was about to argue again, so I stepped in. Then don't tear it down. Chapter 9. The onlookers turned their heads toward me as soon as they heard my voice. The site manager quickly trotted over, brown-nosing as usual. Boss, so we're not demolishing anymore? Just leave their house alone, I replied. I actually think she has a point. We shouldn't drive people to desperation. Although Rita wasn't happy that I was the one stepping in, she still let out a visible sigh of relief once she realized her house was spared. She even glanced smugly at the site manager. See? Even she agreed. And my husband is the actual owner of the company. If you don't believe me, ask her yourself. The manager looked confused, staring at me while nervously wiping sweat from his forehead. My noncommittal expression only made things worse for him. That's nonsense, I said flatly. My husband's been dead for years. He didn't just crawl out of a grave. Then I looked up and swept my gaze over the couple standing proudly in front of the shack. We won't tear down your house, but you'll need to return the compensation. Our company isn't a charity. If anyone else here doesn't want to proceed with the demolition, that's fine too, as long as you give back the money. Hearing that, the crowd instantly backed away, all taking a few steps behind. No one wanted to live in a thatched hut again. After all, the demolition payout from the company was generous enough to guarantee a comfortable life for the rest of their days, as long as they didn't blow it. Seems like it's just your family. Then, I said, return the compensation. Rita burst into tears on the spot. She didn't want the house demolished, but she also didn't want to return the money. Delusional. Sam, seeing her so upset, jumped in to defend her, glaring at me. Ruby, how long are you going to keep this up? Did you forget I'm still the major shareholder of the company? You're just an outsider. You think just because I was gone for 5 years, you could take over? Keep dreaming. Let me tell you something, without me, you're nothing. I let out a cold laugh, eyes full of mockery. You have the most shares? Why don't you go ask around? When my husband died, I inherited everything. Still stuck in your little fantasy. Huh? Do you actually think you're my husband? If I recall correctly, you've got a wife and an ID of your own. Sam isn't just some name you can pretend to be. You're a fisherman who can't even read a balance sheet. What are you going to do with company shares? Sam went silent. He had no proof. The DNA tests had already made everything clear. Even if he was Sam, so what? Who would believe him? He made his bed when he covered his tracks. Now he expected me to mourn for him forever? Let him twist me around in circles? Then he'd better be ready for the consequences. If he wanted to self-destruct, then I'd make sure he went all the way. When he heard the shares were now in my name, Sam panicked. Gone was the cocky tone. He now spoke gently, almost pleading. Ruby, it's me, it's Sam. I was just joking earlier. I never meant to disappear. Don't you recognize me? I shot him a cold glance and looked away. But my husband is dead. Remember? Now that's a joke. You say you're him, but you've got no proof. Keep this up and I'll call the cops for harassment. Sam's face paled, but he still wouldn't shut up. I am your husband. I didn't die. I'm Sam. Why the hell would I need proof? Chapter 10. He kept rambling on, but I had no patience left. I raised my hand to cut him off. Enough. Quit the performance and give the money back. Then I nodded at the site crew. Without hesitation, they turned and started digging behind the shack. Seeing that I didn't believe him, Sam panicked. He grabbed Rita and dragged her in front of me, his eyes full of desperation. Ruby, if you don't believe me, ask her. I only met her 5 years ago. I was just confused back then. I never really meant to leave the company. Rita, tell her. Didn't I tell you I was the company's owner back then? You said you didn't care about my identity. That's why I stayed with you. Tell her I wasn't lying. But Rita didn't say a word. She knew very well that no one in this family would admit Sam's identity now. What worried her more was that if Sam really did return to the family, he might toss her aside. Sam grew increasingly frantic. He shoved her hard and yelled, "Are you deaf? Why won't you speak?" Rita broke down in tears on the spot, and the little dark-skinned child started bawling too. The whole scene descended into chaos. I didn't feel like watching the circus any longer. I turned around and got into my car. By the time Sam realized what was happening, I was already gone. After that, Sam came to the company several times, even trying to go to the media, but with the DNA results as clear as day, his clinging became a one-man fantasy. Everyone just thought he was a lunatic. To stop him from harassing me again, I sued him in court. Maybe the stress finally cracked him. He truly seemed unwell in the end. The hospital issued a psychiatric evaluation, and Sam was officially admitted to a mental facility. Rita cried so hard she lost vision in one eye. Honestly, I don't think a man like him is worth that. But I've been foolish before too. And that's exactly why I'll never destroy myself for a man again. With the drama finally over, Sam vanished from my life for good. I visited Daniel in the hospital once. Maybe the trauma I gave him that day was too much. He flinched the moment he saw me, the fear written all over his face. I was quite satisfied with that outcome. People shouldn't be too greedy. Guard what's yours. Overreach, and you'll get burned.